at? Hey friends, guess what? Trek Geeks is proud to have Fansets as our presenting sponsor. You know, Fansets is the place for amazing pin collectibles with over 400, that's right, I said it, 400 officially licensed Star Trek pins and new releases every single month. Stay tuned for a special discount code good on your next order at fansets.com. Fansets. Our pins have character.
Hi, this is Alexander Siddiq, Dr. Julian Bashir on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and you are listening to the biggest little show this side of the Gamma Quadrant. It's the Trek Geeks podcast with Bill Smith and Dan Davidson.
From the newly christened Podfleet Command Southern Headquarters in the northernmost of the Carolinas, greetings to you, listeners all across the Alpha Quadrant. This is the Trek Geeks podcast. I'm your co-host, Bill Smith, and this is episode number 313. Hey, that's kind of a palindrome. Or I guess, I don't know if they call numbers palindromes. I'm not really sure, but you know who will not know the answer to that is my illustrious co-host. And by illustrious, I mean that for all the wrong reasons. He's the largely exhausting Dan Davidson. Mm-hmm. And Dan, I know you've been on watch there at Podfleet Command Northern HQ. You're doing a heck of a job. I hope all is going well.
Things are going well, man. It's been so quiet since you left here at headquarters north, as we should call it. Maybe we should call it. Is it a polygon? No, that's not it. That's different. That's different than a Okay. Anyway, 313. Good to see you. Hi.
Wow. Thank you for that insightful commentary, Dan Davidson. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
It's good to be back in the saddle. You know, we're just getting ready to head out to a great convention.
Oh my God.
You and I to represent Trek Geeks,
Mm-hmm.
and but here we are. You're there, I'm here, and it's just like the old days when we started to record. When you were in Maine and I was in the newest of Hampshires.
I know, right? It's a little bit further for you. You still look great. So yeah, you're welcome. You always do. And I'm glad that you're settled in over there in North Carolina. Things are nice and quiet here in New Hampshire. And here we are. Episode 313, News of the Quadrant. No specific topic today to talk about Star Trek-wise, but we're just going to talk about all the news that's been going on because there's been a lot of news recently while we've been moving to North Carolina and traveling to the Magic Kingdom and stuff like that over the past few weeks.
It's amazing that, when we think Star Trek isn't going to surprise us anymore, news comes up and we get the hell surprised out of it. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm sure there's going to be some tangents. If you listen to the outtake, you'll see that we tangent all over the place.
That never happens.
It never happens. But it is so great to be talking Star Trek again. I just want to say that, we've already eclipsed the number of episodes we've done last year. So everything from here on in, Dan, is gravy. So
congratulations.
Let's keep cranking these out. In fact, I think we might wind up recording at least one next weekend while we're at Trek Long Island.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I'll approve it. Give me the paperwork. We'll do it right now. Well, it's the approval, not the actual recording.
Well, I say we got to get that from HR first, and then it's got to go through procurement.
That's a mess.
Probably through PR. The PR team has to take a look. We got to get all kinds of sign-offs through, sort of the C-level people. So that may take at least a couple of months.
A couple of months. Wow.
Well, we got a big infrastructure here at Podfleet Command. I mean, we had to expand into a Southern HQ because, we're just, taking over the planet.
It's like the size of a Breen dreadnought ship.
That is a great reference. And I think we're going to talk a little bit of Star Trek Discovery coming up soon, right here, after we do a tiny little bit of business with America, Dan.
America.
Bounce. You missed your cue.
Sorry, I was reading this. I was reading to make sure I didn't have any spelling errors on the copy. Wrong. There are.
Of course there are, please. It's written by Dan Davidson.
Boom.
Dan, as always, we want to take this moment to thank our friends at Fansets for being the presenting sponsor of Trek Geeks.
Yeah, we sure do. A huge thanks, as always, to Lou and John and the entire Fansets team for all the hard work they do to bring you the very best Trek pins around. Now, be sure to head over to fansets.com for the greatest new releases, which include the research badges from Star Trek 4 for both Scotty and Jillian. Now, I didn't even know that they were doing these, so way to keep us posted, Fansets. We appreciate that. Also, the original series Gold Mini Delta, as well as the TNG Future Imperfect Mini Delta pin are available. That makes me wonder if there's going to be 7 other Future Imperfect mini pins, but that's a topic for another discussion. The Lower Decks Property of the USS Cerritos pin is available. And from Discovery, you can now pick up the 32nd Century Command Delta in either pin or magnet form. And speaking of Discovery, Bill, the long-awaited Star Trek autograph pin from Cleveland Booker himself, Mr. David Ajala, is now available at fansets.com.
Oh, that is fantastic. I didn't know they were going to do one of those. That's amazing.
Grudge is even on it, for God's sake.
Oh, well, then I don't want it. No, I kid. Dan, there are lots of new releases this week. So everyone, get on over to fansets.com, grab all those new pins, and then at checkout, be sure to enter the special discount code Trek Geeks for 10% off your entire order. That's Trek Geeks in all capital letters with no spaces. And don't forget, when you spend more than $30, you will automatically get free shipping in the United States. Now, if you're going to be at Trek Long Island next weekend, obviously we're not going to ship it to you, but Dan will promise to take a photo with you in each of the Fansets pins that you buy for no charge at Trek Long Island.
No charge. And I didn't mention it here. There's a special Trek Long Island pin that is going to be available at Trek Long Island. It's gorgeous. I know I'm getting one, and everybody who goes to Trek Long Island should get one too. Now, if they sell out, they won't be available on the website, but if there's any extras, you can sure bet that there will be some on the website afterwards. So keep your eyes open for that. Fansets. Our pins have character, and we thank our friends at Fansets for being the presenting sponsor of Trek Geeks.
Dan.
Hi.
It's time for the news from TrekNews.net. Spanning the Alpha Quadrant. For all the news on all the Star Trek show. It's TrekNews.net.
Barbecue sauce.
Online at chili's.com. I'm Trek News. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Online at treknews.net. It's been a while since you've thrown barbecue sauce at me. That was pretty amazing.
Thanks. Well, you're in North Carolina now, so
y'all.
I don't know what that means, but anyway.
Yeah, I haven't yet to have any barbecue down here. That's because if I do, I'm going to automatically be 500 pounds.
Love that chicken from Popeyes. Sorry.
Have you had chicken from Popeyes?
I have a long time ago.
It's damn good.
It's damn good. It's very good. Yep. It's
anyway, we're here to talk about Star Trek news, not necessarily our culinary, outings. Dan, up first. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. You've heard of it.
I have.
Great show.
Good
it's
show.
Got that dude from that thing. Strange New World Season 3 has officially wrapped.
That's pretty awesome news.
Which means they're shooting, I think they're doing some pickup things, but as far as principal photography, that is over according to the one and only Captain Pike himself.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yesterday, I was scrolling through Instagram, which I'm actually using a lot more than I ever used to before.
I know. I'm so proud of you.
And it's great. I really love it. I sit there watching puppy videos all day long. But Anson Mount had a wonderful post on Instagram yesterday. He was outside. I don't know if it was of the set or the production studio or whatever, but he was talking that he had just finished wrapping his portion of season 3. He said there's some stuff that they still needed to finish up, and he was trying to keep the video tight so that nobody could see what was behind him, because evidently there was some stuff going on. But season 3 has wrapped. Finally, he apologized that it took long because of the strike and talked about how important the strike was, and he is so thankful for the support that all of his Star Trek fans have given and provided over the course of time waiting. He says he says it is going to be worth the wait, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what happens, because that cliffhanger at the end of season 2 is right up there along the lines of, Star Trek The Next Generation and Best of Both Worlds and what's going to happen with everything. So I'm very excited. Can't wait to get our crew back on the Enterprise and see what happens.
I need it like I need air. Well, I mean, by the time we see it, it's going to be like, what, 2 years?
At least, yeah. It's not going to be for a while, I don't think.
Which really is a shame. I mean, and I get it. It's no one's fault. Mm-hmm. The strike had to happen just to simply protect the rights,
yes,
and of the artists, and to make sure that they were getting paid what they should be paid. Mm-hmm. Fully on board with that. The fact that it's taking 2 years to get the other half of that cliffhanger really is a first world problem. But I mean, Strange New Worlds is kind of like what I'm jonesing for, especially with Discovery coming to an end. There's less shows now. Yep. So that means the gap in between now is going to be potentially a lot greater.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also very excited that even though season 3 has just wrapped, we already know that there's going to be a season 4 of Strange New Worlds, which is very good. We can look forward to, I would say, optimistically, at least 20 new episodes of Strange New Worlds over the next 2 years, if they stick with their regular 10 episodes per season thing. Remember the good old days of 24, 26 episodes a season, dude? That was just the best. But, I'll take 10. I'll take whatever they give us, because it's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to it.
I do, but remember the days of Aquiel? That's what you get when you have 24 and 26 episode seasons.
It's like an episode named Bill Smith or something. I just don't want to go there. But anyway, I digress. Anyway,
tell me about it.
I know, but it's going to be great. Like we said, Strange New Worlds has really just been a fantastic show with storytelling and acting and special effects and everything. I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, there's not as many shows now. Discovery's going to be gone. Lower Decks is going to be gone. So there's not going to be a whole lot out there like we had just a few years ago. So I can't wait. Like you said, it's going to be a while before season 3 airs, but I will be looking forward to that release date and trailer. I always like trailers.
You are a big trailer fan.
I love trailers.
Been a big trailer fan.
Yeah.
I am so worried with Strange New Worlds that we're only going to get 5 seasons like we did for Discovery. And Lower Decks, apparently. Mm-hmm. Don't get me started on Lower Decks. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But because I want more. I feel like 50 episodes or so is just not enough. I'm a big fan of longer seasons. I like minimums of 13. I would like 20. Mm-hmm. But I really wish that, we were getting more episodes, for the franchise, honestly, because I think it's better for us. It's better for Star Trek. I mean, they're going to make it anyway. Why not just make more?
Yeah, it seems that streaming now, 10 is the number. I mean, all kinds of shows are capping it at 10 a season. I just got done watching Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which I loved, and that was 10 episodes. There's a bunch of other shows that I'm interested in watching, and it seemed that 10 is the number. I don't know if that's a contractual thing or not, but it seems that's what it is. Now, if I remember correctly, wasn't Discovery Season 1 16 episodes? Something like that.
It was around there, 15 or 16, because there was that 2 episode
prologue. Yeah.
Prologue.
I'm checking it right now just to see, just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, because, that that never happens. Looks like 15 episodes in season 1. So
Yeah.
15 episodes, 14 episodes, 13 episodes, and 13 episodes for Discovery. So they went a little bit longer than most shows. We know that season 5's 10 episodes. I'm going to bet that season 3 of Strange New World is going to be 10. I'm going with 10. Over-under's 10.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get more than 10. I don't think any series on there is getting more than 10 right now.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a reality show or something that are cheaper to produce. I don't want. I'm already thinking about the end game because we're more than halfway into, to Strange New World's production theoretically, and I don't want the game to end. It really concerns me.
I'm going to throw something out there, and this is a curveball, man. And I haven't said anything to you about it before. It just popped into my head. We've seen it happen before with popular shows. What do you think about a Strange New World movie once it wraps? The possibilities are endless because it's Trek that we know. It's not in the 32nd century, which I don't even want to go into that part yet. But the success of the show, I would love it if after the show wraps they do a special movie. I think that would be fantastic.
Well, but I mean, look how popular Discovery is right now. It's cracking the top 10 in streaming, with every episode that it's releasing this year. It was the cornerstone for CBS All Access, and without it, we wouldn't have had all this other Star Trek. You would think that they'd be getting ready to plan some other movies. No.
Yeah.
So I have no confidence that Paramount will do anything like that.
Oh, I agree. Confidence? No, I don't have the confidence. I have the hope. But, we've seen over the last couple of years some of the decisions that have been taking place with Star Trek when it comes to executives at these companies kind of really scratch your head. So, yeah, do I have confidence? No, not at all. Do I hope to see it? Would I love to see it? Absolutely, because we know that the franchise succeeds with movies.
It does, and succeeds pretty much every time. We'll tangent this because they want to do a prequel movie for the Kelvin timeline that shows the beginnings of Starfleet.
Well,
don't we kind of know that already?
Yeah,
like first contact with aliens. So first contact as opposed to first contact itself.
I've never been more of a head scratcher than when those headlines came out a few weeks ago. It really makes no sense to me at all. I would rather have the original rumored screenplay, which brought back Kirk's father and the whole time, distortion, get things back to the normal prime timeline instead of the Kelvin timeline. I don't know. And I got to say, with all the stuff that's been going on with a supposed new movie of Star Trek, I'm not holding my breath for that one. I'll tell you that either. I just am not. With all the turmoil that's going on, whether Paramount's going to be sold or anything like that, I just don't know if that will ever see the light of day, no matter how much they talk about it.
I have to agree with you, but getting back to Strange New Worlds, I have every confidence that season 3 is going to be amazing. They don't have to try to sell me on that.
Nope.
I believe that the right people are in place doing the right things.
Yeah.
I want it to continue to be amazing for a good 10 years.
I would love that. And that would be right about the amount of time before Pike's accident. So that would be, oh my God, that would be perfect. Anyway, I digress.
It'd be great if they wound up going back in time. Whereas Discovery jumped forward, maybe they wind up jumping back. We get even more Strange New Worlds. Boom!
How about this? They jump forward to the 32nd century and pull Discovery back to their regular timeline. No, we're not going to do that.
No, we're not doing that. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Mm-hmm. I think fandom was stunned this week when it was announced that Academy Award winner Holly Hunter would lead the cast for the brand new Starfleet Academy series being produced for Paramount Plus. And I was among those people whose jaw hit the floor.
Yeah, that's big news. I mean, we have an Academy Award winner now with Michelle Yeoh with the Section 31 movie. Now we have an Academy Award winner who is going to be the lead in a new TV series. And that's just incredible. Now, I will say I do not know a whole lot about Holly's career. I know that she was in broadcast news. I know that she was in the piano, I believe. I know her for the voice of Elastigirl from the Incredible movies. And I know her from The Firm, which I love her role in The Firm. I thought she was great in that. I know that she's been on Saving Grace. I know she's been on Mr. Mayor. This is a big name. Now, as exciting as this news is, I don't want to bring people down. I don't want to be negative, but I got to tell you, man, I'm going to be honest. I'm always honest on the show. Right now, at this very moment, I have zero interest in this series. And I hope that changes when we get more information about it.
Let me ask you this to qualify, because we're the people who always say, just watch it and make up your mind.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this as a qualification. Is it because it's set in the 32nd century?
Bingo! That
Okay.
is exactly why I'm very upset about it. I mean, I understand, and I will always be one to criticize because, oh my God, you don't criticize CBS and Paramount on Trek Geeks, guys. You're just shills. Wrong. I've always criticized the fact that, in my opinion, they moved Discovery to the 32nd century to get out of canon problems. And to keep a new show in that timeline, I think, is another way to avoid that from happening. And I think there could be some fantastic stories about the original Starfleet Academy back in the times that we're familiar with Kirk, Spock, Pike, even up through Picard and Janeway and all those people. I just don't know. I will keep an open mind, which I always do. But right now, knowing that it's going to be Starfleet Academy and San Francisco in the 32nd century, I don't know. It just doesn't blow any wind up my skirt, to quote True Lies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I too am not excited that it's the 32nd century. You brought up a great point that, they did it to avoid problems with canon. I'm sorry, but it's the job of a writer to write and to come up with things. They seem to have no problem making it fit with canon before that. Writers 20 years ago had no problem making Enterprise fit canon.
Right.
I think that if you let writers do their job, they would have no problems at all. I think it just seemed to me to be a cop-out.
And we know it can happen.
Because Kurtzman wanted to jump it forward.
Yep. We know it can happen. Look at the amazing writing people like Bowie did. And bringing that the canon that we're used to into stories, like the whole Pike accident and stuff like that, which I will always be forever grateful with. It's
Bowie and Erica, yeah.
Bowie and Erica, yeah, they were fantastic with that. And it just, I don't know. I'm a little tired of the whole, hey, I can pull a phaser out of thin air type of thing, which happens in the 32nd century now. And like I said, I'll keep my mind open. I'm not excited right now. Hopefully that will change. But when I watch it, I might be more critical of it just for the fact that I'm not super excited about it, at least at this point. But we'll see. That could change.
And I don't want to knock any of the writers who are on Discovery now.
No, not at all.
They were given a framework with which to write inside, a sort of an updated show Bible, I imagine. Mm-hmm. But there were also great writers in the first two seasons of Discovery who had no problem telling engaging stories that advance these characters forward, because that's really what it's about. It's not about the canon. Mm-hmm. It's about the characters and how we reflect humanity. And when you let writers do their job, you get a great product.
Right.
I feel like personally, it was to satisfy, the whimsy of one person.
I agree.
But that's neither here nor there. I will give it a try. A lot of people are calling it 90210 in space. Nobody in 90210 was in college, I don't think. And that's essentially what Starfleet Academy is. It's a military academy of sorts, or a quasi-military academy. It's probably more like X-Men First Class, quite frankly.
Yeah. I will say one other thing in regards to it. It's great to have Holly Hunter. They damn well better have Tilly on the show. With everything that we're seeing with her in Discovery in season 5 with Starfleet Academy and everything, it would make sense. And if they don't, I think it would be another slap in the face to that character, because I think they slapped her in the face really hard in season 4. And I'm very glad that they at least have brought her back to wrap up stuff in season 5. It just would make sense to have Mary as at least a recurring character in the new show, since that's where she is now anyway.
Well, but we don't know why she wasn't in season 4. we assume it was just because they didn't want her there. But for all we know, she could have asked for some significant time off due to, or something in her real everyday life.
True.
I'm glad she's back for season 5. But the fact that she's going to go back to, probably go back to the academy to teach says we probably should. And when we'll see her at least intermittently, if she's not going to be part of the series already.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see.
We shall see. Speaking of things that have come from Discovery, Dan, Section 31, the much talked about movie, has also wrapped some time ago. And I want to go on the record here and say I'm still correct because I said there would never be a Section 31 series.
You are correct. Yeah.
And it was never going to happen. And when they said, oh, it's still happening, it was never still happening. And then once Michelle Yeoh won an Oscar, there was no way we were going to get her for a series. So I don't want to say neener, but I will.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I give you all the credit in the world. As everyone who has ever listened to this here podcast knows, I love Section 31. I love the idea of it. I don't like how some things have been handled with it as it's become more and more apparent that it's been around and people knew about it, even though originally nobody knew about it. That's an issue. But I like Section 31, so I'm very happy that there is going to be a movie with Michelle Yeoh as a star. Of course, we saw her as Emperor Georgiou in Discovery, and now she's back for this movie. It wrapped in late March, so it has been a few months, so I'm sure they're heavy into post-production. We don't have a release date yet that I'm aware of, but I am very much looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fantastic to see what's going on with her ever since she stepped through the Guardians' donut hole. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
The donut hole. Well, I mean, we know it's being directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi.
Fantastic.
Tunde directs the hell out of everything he gets to do. He's fantastic. So I have every confidence that the movie will be enjoyable. And we do get kind of a precursor because there's a character coming back for that particular movie that we'll recognize.
Yes, we will recognize Rachel Garrett from your favorite episode, Tongue in Cheek, yesterday's Enterprise. And we did see her kind of in Star Trek Picard season 3, like kind of, just maybe like a statue. But yeah, she's going to be a major character in this movie. So it'll be interesting to see how that all comes about. I believe, if I remember correctly, and I admit I have not read it in quite a while, I believe it's a younger version of Captain Garrett.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I do like the fact, this is a good example of what we were just talking about. If you have the writers doing the right thing, they can do stuff like this. They're pulling in stuff that we would not have thought people would ever be writing or starring or talking about in movies again. Captain Garrett, she was in one episode of TNG. She was mentioned in Picard season 3, but yet here she is going to be a pretty significant character in Section 31. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Well, that's what leads me to believe the whole jump to the 32nd century was just bullshit, because we can write about this time, which nobody knows about. There's nothing written in this space, just like there was nothing written about the space 10 years before Kirk and Spock.
Yep.
And yet there won't be any canon problems there? Maybe?
No, come on. No, not at all. No. I will say, as interesting as it is to have Rachel Garrett as a character, I am equally as upset, unless they're going to surprise us, that Ash Tyler has not been mentioned as being in this movie when he was such an integral part of Section 31 during that season of Discovery.
Well, maybe he will be now, because it doesn't look like Disney's going to go through with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think that was one of the tax write-offs they took advantage of.
Okay.
Which I'm bummed about, because that was my favorite book growing up. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. I so wish I got to go on that ride at Disney before they closed it down. But
I was just going to say, I never read the book, but that was my favorite ride at Disney when I was a kid.
Really?
It scared the hell out of me. And I always thought we were really underwater, and we weren't.
You weren't? I thought that it actually went underwater.
Part of it did, but it didn't completely submerge.
Oh, because you didn't want to drown the park people.
Right. So
now they could do it as Sebastian's Under the Sea ride.
Ah, yeah, man. Anyway, yeah. Back to Section 31.
Darling, it's better. Darling, it's better. Take it from me.
So we'll see. No release date, but I'll be looking for it.
But that'll be coming to Paramount Plus. I'm honestly not going to be surprised if there's a theatrical release.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised if it initially is on Paramount Plus, and then maybe, depending on the success of it, do you think maybe afterwards they might do a theatrical? I don't know.
I'm going to say there's no reason they can't flop it. Put it in theaters for a limited time and then release it to Paramount Plus. Make some money back.
That's right. Why not?
Because that's what they're in the business of, right?
I would think so.
Now, Dan, this isn't on the board, but I'm going to bring it up anyway.
Oh, here we go.
The announced ending of Lower Decks.
Oh, yes.
After the current season, which I am the most bummed about. It's a bummer that Discovery is coming to an end. Whenever a Trek series ends, it's like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. But with Lower Decks, I'll let you tell us about the fact that it's ending.
It's ending.
Great job. So I think that for me, I felt such a connection to Lower Decks because it kept me laughing through a horrible time.
Yep.
We got to know Lower Decks through the pandemic. And it was there for us to let Star Trek poke a little fun at itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was new and it was fresh. And, we got to see things we didn't expect. And now to hear that what is most likely the show that is cheapest to produce, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Is getting, cut from Paramount Plus after 5 seasons really is, they could literally do this show for 20 years.
Exactly. That's not an exaggeration. There is so much to tell with these characters. It has been, and you said it, you hit the nail on the head. This show makes me laugh. This show is fun. It's we've talked about how Discovery every season is like, if they don't solve the problem, all life could end, or half the Thanos is going to snap his fingers and half the galaxy is going to disintegrate or whatever. It's always been this, oh my God, this has to be fixed issue problem on Discovery for 5 seasons. And I'm not necessarily knocking that, but I'm comparing it to fun, laid back, sometimes crude, humorous, funny, but at times serious entertainment that is Lower Decks. Mike McMahon has done an absolutely phenomenal job with this series, as has all of the people associated with it. The animators, the voice actors, the pre and post-production teams. Nothing about this show has been bad, except the cancellation. And the problem is we don't really know why it has been canceled, which makes people start rumors or conspiracy theories. Yep. I don't think this is going to happen. We saw it happen with Prodigy. I would love to see somebody else pick it up because it's that good and people want more of this show. It is probably the most disappointing cancellation notice of any of the Trek shows.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. I will only be equally as crestfallen when Strange New Worlds is canceled someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel, for as much as, with the legacy stuff, Deep Space Nine was our Trek.
Yes.
I feel like in this newer batch of shows, until we got Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks was our Trek.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I felt like it touched my fandom, and that was important. So I can only hope that some other service, maybe Netflix, maybe somebody else will pick it up. I know Aaron Harvey, our own Aaron Harvey, is doing a Lower Deck stream-a-thon online.
Yep.
Coming up, I want to say it's the 25th.
That would be tomorrow, right?
As we record
this, yeah. I think you're right. Unfortunately, I don't have it up on my screen.
I'm going to it right now. Yes, it is.
There it goes. Boom.
May 25th, all day long. You can go to savestartreklowerdecks.com. But he's going to have guests, and the whole idea is to ratchet up those streaming numbers for Lower Decks, whether you're able to tune into their live stream about it or not. So let's all get out there or get in there and load up that Paramount Plus, if it actually loads, because it's a shitty app. And watch Star Trek Lower Decks.
Ouch.
Did I say that out loud?
I think you did, but you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. It's always really kind of been horrible. Even as CBS All Access. Did I say this? Oh my God. Man. Why can't you stop me?
Because you're not wrong. I can't stop the truth.
This has never stopped you before.
No, that's because I've never really been interested in what you have to say, but now I am. So,
so we hit upon Lower Decks, but Dan, let's talk about something happier.
Very happy. Before
we downshift into really probably the biggest news of the next week.
Yeah.
And that is Trek Long Island. You and I have been waiting to go for this for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. Ever since we talked to Lou and John at Fansets and they said, guys, you have got to do this con next year.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. We are, about a week away. We're a week away from the convention kicking off. And I'm as excited right now as I am for Vegas.
I was just going to say, this is the first time we've done this one. So I remember the first time I went to STLV several years ago, and that excitement is kind of the same right now because it's a new one. We haven't done a convention in quite a while, Vegas last year. So it's been almost a year. So it's time to get back out on the circuit. And it's close, which is great. And it's intimate, which I think is even greater. This isn't a negative thing at all. It's a smaller con, but there's going to be tons of Star Trek actors there. There's going to be tons of podcasters there. And it's all done so remarkably from what we've seen with what happened last year and all the discussions that we've had this year. I can't wait. It is going to be nonstop fun from the time that we get there till the time that we wrap it up. I can't wait.
And this is a great con because it was created to help benefit organizations that could use funding.
Mm-hmm.
Organizations doing great things. So think of it almost as a charity con, which I think is even better. Not only are you going to meet some amazing people from the Star Trek universe, but you're also helping do good, which I think is important. I mean, I think that kind of speaks to the notion of Trektivism, quite frankly.
Oh, absolutely. And just knowing of what all the people that are putting so much of their heart and soul behind this makes it even more important for us, I guess is the right word, to be there and to do our part. I mean, there's going to be some great guests there. We're going to have Melissa Navi is going to be there. Armin Shimmerman's going to be there. Ethan Phillips, Gabrielle Ruiz. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's going to be all kinds of panels all weekend long with these guests. Elias Tufexis is going to be there. The bad guy from Discovery season 5.
I was just going to say, my man, Elias Tufexis.
My man.
Who
yep.
I love this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting him in Vegas with his beautiful family was fantastic.
So yep.
Such a great guy. But to know that he's going to be there after, just his amazing job this season on Discovery.
Yep.
Can't wait. If you played Star Trek Resurgence, you've heard him. He's been in a metric ton of video games. He's in Star Trek Discovery Episode 3, Season 1, by the way.
Really?
He's one of the prisoners on the transport shuttle.
I did not know that. I'm going to have to go back and check that out now.
At the beginning of the episode where Burnham is being taken and Discovery interrupts.
In her
He's
yellow
one of those
suit?
guys. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out. But yeah, it's going to be great. There's so many great people, so many great conversations going to be had. We're going to have some panels that we're very excited about, man. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. I've said it like 5 times, so I guess it means that's what I'm happy about it.
So let's talk about it. So on Saturday night in prime time, panel room B, kind of after hours, you and I are doing Trek Geeks After Dark Before Sunset.
That's a good name.
That's because the sun won't be down yet.
Right.
So we can't really call it After Dark.
Right.
So that's the name I settled on. And you and I are going to do a version of Say Something Nice live at Trek Long Island, which I'm stoked for.
We haven't done that, and we haven't done Say Something Nice in quite a while.
I know.
It's going to be awesome. We're going to record it, so it will be an upcoming episode here on Trek Geeks down the road for those people that unfortunately won't be able to join us in New York. It's going to be awesome. I've got some great stuff I want to talk about, man. I'm going to be nice. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to be nice. And I might even say a nice thing or two about you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I'm just kidding. I won't say anything nice.
No, you're not going to say anything. I'm still working out the audience participation element because people who participate are going to get prizes from Fansets, which is always the amazing.
Prizes from Fansets? Yes, it's going to be amazing. And here's the even better part. We're less than a week away out. Now, normally when we've got Vegas and we've got our Fan Geeks party, we know the prizes. We know the whole metric ton of pins that we're going to be giving away. Right now, as we record, you and I haven't the slightest idea of the prizes that are going to be given away. They could be giving away the whole kit and caboodle for all we know, and it's just going to be that much better for the people that are in the audience for that night for Say Something Nice.
Anytime I can make fan sets just give away product, it's a good day for me.
I love it.
Whether it's to me or somebody else, I'm very happy.
Like maybe those Star Trek 4 new pins that we talked about that I never even knew they made. I'm so upset at them right now. No, I'm not. I love them.
You can yell at them next week.
In person. Slap Lou around a little bit.
Well, yeah, not John, though, because John's really the brains and the talent behind the whole thing. We're also doing, as far as panels, I believe it's on Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
We're doing the Star Trek Save My Life panel.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, nowhere near as hilarious and funny as the Say Something Nice will be.
Yep.
But we've done other versions of this panel before at Trekonderoga and also at the official Star Trek convention, Mission Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what a shock! No Mission Chicago slated no Mission convention slated for this year. And it's this time it's you and I for the 45 minutes, and it's always a conversation that brings out some different elements, and also I think causes other folks to share things that they may not have anticipated sharing on that particular day.
I don't disagree with that, and I actually think that's one of the benefits of doing this type of discussion, to let people know that you can talk about some of these things that you may not think you would be talking about for any reason. We've talked about stuff before that's happened with both of us, and it's not to put a spotlight in any way on either you or I and what we've gone through, but it's our way of giving back and letting people know that there is help out there, and things like Star Trek are extremely beneficial and can literally save lives. And as we always have, I'm very much looking forward to this because I think it's an important discussion.
I am too. Well, it's kind of weird to say I'm looking forward to it because it's an ultra serious topic.
It is.
I have other details to bring this year from recent therapy revelations.
Yeah.
So that will be different. It will be painful. We recommend bringing Kleenex or tissues because Kleenex is a brand name.
Right.
But it's also a panel where, it's a safe space for anybody who wants to say something,
which
we want people to,
case.
Right. We want people to come and know that they're in a room full of friends who understand.
Right.
And if people feel compelled to share during the panel, awesome. If they want to talk to us after the panel, absolutely. Not everybody is comfortable getting up in front of a microphone in a room full of people. And, I certainly understand that. So, it's a room where everybody's input will be appreciated and taken seriously and with the utmost respect for sure.
Absolutely. Could not have said it better myself, so I won't even try.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And just like you said, all kinds of other panels. It's going to be a great weekend of celebrating this franchise that we love on the East Coast for a change, which I'm very excited about.
So that means when I call my wife to say goodnight, it won't be like 3 hours earlier, and it's like I haven't even had dinner yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I missed a good chunk of the Trektivism party because I was saying goodnight to my wife last year. And here you are out there taking selfies with the not visitor, Bob Picardo.
Yeah, you do what you do.
All kinds of Trek royalty. And I'm like, I missed this?
Yeah, well, they said don't come.
Don't come. I hate you so much. Well, Dan, the big thing of the week is the fact that Star Trek Discovery comes to a close this coming Thursday with its final episode.
Wow.
And I will tell you, I've seen it. Because we do have access to screeners through Paramount.
Yep.
It is roughly an hour and a half long.
Okay.
So don't think try to squeeze it in. If you only got an hour, you're going to want the whole hour and a half uninterrupted.
Okay. That's good to know. I am on episode 8. I have not seen 9, which I believe is directed by our friend Jonathan Frakes. And I'm looking forward to it. I got to say, it's how did the stars align that the final episode of the series that kicked off this next generation of Star Trek is ending the first night of Trek Long Island? incredible.
The night before Trek Long Island.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be there. So I'm kind of thinking of, but it's amazing. I'm sad to see it go. I will say I was not a fan of season 4. I didn't really like season 4 a whole lot. There were aspects of it that I did like, but there were aspects of it that kind of left me scratching my head. I have been surprisingly liking this season. There have been a couple of things that I'm like, okay, if that never happens again, I'm not going to care. But I've really connected with this season so far. I'm hoping the last 2 episodes will keep that connection. I know that some people have not liked it. Some people have absolutely loved it. But it's going away. It's going away earlier than what we're used to with past Star Trek seasons, except for Enterprise, because of John Billingsley. But no, just kidding. Just kidding.
Ow.
Just kidding. Just joking. Our good friend John. But yeah, it was a surprise. I mean, it was a surprise to the entire acting team when all of a sudden they announced that season 5 was the last. They actually had to go back and film some new stuff to wrap it up. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to react to those final scenes of episode 10, which I will definitely watch before we head out to New York next week.
I feel like I need to watch it again because, as you say, there's a lot that occurs in the final episode. Mm-hmm. Some of it I expected, some of it I did not expect at all. And that's really all I'm comfortable saying without necessarily giving something away accidentally.
Right.
I think it's a fitting end for Discovery. I think that the people who are huge Discovery fans will absolutely love it, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. I think the people who are kind of lukewarm on Discovery will continue to be lukewarm.
Okay.
And I'm not going to bother talking about the haters because it's not worth my energy.
Yep.
I loved season 1. I was okay with season 2. I appreciated aspects of season 3. Unlike most people, I loved the reason for the burn because I thought it was a great statement on grief and loss from the perspective of a child. Mm-hmm. To lose your mother at that age it's traumatic, and to have that manifest itself as the burn, I thought was creative, if not a little weird. But I appreciated the leap, if you will.
Sure.
I didn't like season 4 at all. And so far I'm kind of mixed on season 5.
Okay.
So, there have been episodes of 5 I thought were fantastic. There have been episodes of 5 I thought were just dull and boring as all get out.
Okay.
So, I've appreciated lots of individual performances. But I think the finale does a great job of wrapping up this sort of progenitor story.
Okay. One of the things that I will say, and it's not really a spoiler, I'll be very careful on how I word it. But if anybody has watched any of this season now, even a couple episodes in, you'll probably have an idea. So it's not really a spoiler, but I am going to talk about it because I have to, because of the point I want to make. One of the things that I love about what Star Trek has done over the course of the last 10 years is pull in stuff that we would least expect. And I'll give him credit for this whole progenitor thing. Nobody would have ever thought we would have ever heard about the episode The Chase ever again.
No.
Ever. So one of the things, Deep Space Nine is our Star Trek. It has been for so long. So for season 3 of Picard to pull in so many aspects of Deep Space Nine with the Dominion and the changelings and this, that, and the other thing, I thought was fantastic. For them to do it again here in the final season of Discovery with the Breen is another thing that makes me smile. Other than DS9, we barely ever even knew anything about the Breen. We didn't know, we never saw them, we never heard them. And for them to do it, and I'm not going to say any more about it, about the Breen, I really appreciate it, which shows that there are still people out there writing these shows that appreciate all of the different aspects of the Star Trek universe and are able to bring things in that we would never think would be formidable or an important aspect of a story. So I'm very happy with what they did with it.
Plus, I like getting more backstory on the Breen and finding out, exactly what they can and can't do in those refrigeration suits. That's what you sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher just then. So you need to work on your Breen impersonation.
Sorry.
Because it's really kind of lackluster.
Sorry.
In fact, we'll have you do one for Elias when we're at Trek Island.
Great. Thank you.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, that's a bad spot to be in. Okay.
It really, hey, you brought this on yourself, mister. It's whether you absolutely love Discovery and it's your favorite, or whether or not you watch it simply because you're a Star Trek fan. It's time for Discovery to get its due. It had 5 incredibly successful seasons. Watch the finale. We were talking about the Nielsen streaming ratings earlier. It's been in the top 10 pretty much every episode this season. And this last episode, I'm sure, is not going to be an exception to that.
Right.
We need to be happy about the fact that yet another Trek series completes a successful run and has brought so many other fans into Star Trek.
Yeah.
And now those fans will get to experience what we did for 20 years and just getting to watch those shows over and over and over and over.
Yeah. I'm not the first person to do this. I'm probably the first person on the podcast too. And it may be a little early, but I want to give and I'm not going to get everybody. I'm not going to name everybody, but I want to give sincere thanks to people like Sonequa and Doug and Mary Wiseman, Anthony Rapp, Wilson Cruz, all of the people that have been associated with Discovery for bringing Star Trek back and doing such a great job and letting the passion of what they're doing show with the episodes. People, especially like Sonequa and Doug, who have such a love for the craft that they do, and it shows every time they're on screen. Sadly, Doug was not on screen enough this season. I'm going to say that right now.
It wasn't.
I wish he was more, because Doug is just the most incredible human being. But thank you to everybody associated with Discovery for 5 seasons of great Star Trek storytelling.
Well, and everybody who's written too,
Yes.
from the early seasons, like Ted Sullivan and Bowie and Erica, up to present day with like Alan McElroy and Sean Cochran and so many other writers. We don't mean to, if we called out everybody, we'd be here all day. But
exactly,
those are just, to draw the sort of the pantheon there. Everybody has put a lot of time and effort and fandom into creating stories that Star Trek fans would love and that would be worthy of Star Trek. And we're grateful for the care and feeding that they have put into Discovery, because it's absolutely Star Trek and should be celebrated as such. Thank you for 5 great seasons of Star Trek is really what it comes down to.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Dan, you and I have a bit of an announcement before we sort of bring things home here. Is that coming up sort of the middle of next month or so, you and I, let's just say we're going to have some faces for radio going on.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. You came to me with, Dan, I got an idea. And normally when that happens, I'm like, oh, Christ, here we go. But as with all of them.
You were kind of like that this time too.
I was. As with all of them, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But as soon as you said it, I'm like, yep, I'm good with it. We are going to start video recording our podcasts, and they will be available. The video of our podcast will be available exclusively to Patreonicals at first, and then after the episode is released in audio form, it will then be released on YouTube, so everybody can look at our ugly mugs while we talk about the latest topic in the Star Trek universe. And I'm actually very excited about this. It'll be interesting, to say the least.
Well, and it's not just that the Patreonicals are getting video. They're getting a live stream of our recording that they will get to watch and comment on and potentially interact with us. So they will deservedly so get it first. We'll do it directly to them. And then after a little bit of time, probably after the episode releases, we haven't decided exactly when. That video from that same recording will be uploaded to YouTube as the episode on the YouTube channel. So we're kind of getting into video.
Wow. You got to clean up that mug of yours.
What
no, I mean the coffee mug behind you. I'm not being.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Well, I wanted to see. It's an experiment. You see the heat lamp over it. I'm waiting to see if I can create some kind of medicine that's going to cure the common cold.
There you go. No, I'm actually. We talked about it before. What's the point of having a podcast where we're just watching 2 people sit behind a microphone? But we've had live streams and they've been successful and people want it more. So you know what? You threw the idea at me and I caught it and I threw it back to you and said, "Let's do it." We're doing it.
We're doing it, baby. So yeah, coming up mid-June-ish. Depending, it's we got to make sure that Dan actually starts taking showers and stuff and cleans himself up for video. because he looks kind of. If you can imagine Pigpen from the Peanuts cartoons, that's kind of what he looks like right now.
Huh.
But yeah, I'm very excited about it. So if you want to get more details or even join our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/trekgeeks, and you too can see our ugly mugs. Some of our Patreons actually wonder if it's a perk and not a punishment.
Exactly. You beat me to it. I was going to say, some of the Patreons are like, really? And we have to pay for that?
Why would you do that to us?
Why aren't you paying us now?
To which we say, you brought this on yourselves, quite frankly.
Exactly.
So yeah, starting in June, I think that kind of covers the waterfront, as Billingsley would say, for the kind of the Star Trek news. We're looking forward to meeting some of our fellow Trek Geeks podcasters in Long Island. Mm-hmm. We're hoping to put together a massive Discovery end of the run reaction panel.
Yes.
Which, may be in somebody's hotel room early one morning. So we'll have to make sure there's coffee and donuts. Let's get a memo to the intern about that.
Yeah. Is he going to be? Yeah, he's on the East Coast. Let's go.
Adam will be there Saturday, I think.
That's not a very good intern, is he? He should be there Wednesday.
He's already asked for our coffee orders.
Wednesday. Good intern would be there before we get there.
You're in Northern Command. You're closer, so you'll have to take it with him, with Adam, the intern.
Yes.
But yeah, as far as this is concerned, we'll be in Long Island pretty darn soon. If you're going to be there, please. We're going to be in the vendor hall all weekend long, right next to Fansets.
Yay!
Stop, say hi.
Yes.
We love to meet people. Whether you've listened for 9 straight years or whether you've just started listening, please come by, say hi. We'll make fun of Dan.
Yeah. Not hard.
We'll point at him and laugh because he's going to be off doing other things.
No.
I'm going to say, Elias Tefexis is here, and run over to his table of Fansets, and I'm going to be left alone.
Well, it's because he's interested in seeing me.
That makes no sense at all.
Completely not true.
It's completely true.
No, he doesn't want to see me.
I gotta go.
Well,
actually, you didn't tell me that because I was at the booth.
That's true. Where was I?
You're with Lou going to see Sadiqua.
I unless something comes up that I'm not expecting, I will be at the booth probably the whole weekend.
Except for like our panels.
Except the panels, yep.
Yeah.
And in case, Lou tells me that, Elias wants to talk to us something, and then I'll just leave. I won't tell you.
Yeah, believe me, I know. But Trek Long Island, if you haven't got tickets yet, get on over to treklongisland.com, get all the information, because this is going to be a fun time. People, still talk about the fact that they wish there were some of those smaller regional Trek-cons.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. Yep. Here we are. And it's time to support independent conventions like this as much as the big ones, because they're all about celebrating Star Trek. And I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Or I'm there for it.
We're there for it.
We are. And Danny, you know what else we're there for?
What are we there for, Bill?
The guys in the band 5-year mission.
Oh, right.
Wow. You're going to work your way into a new lawsuit is what I'm thinking. But of course, they are the music you hear on Trek Geeks every week. You'll hear them throughout the Trek Geeks podcast network on a good number of our shows. But, every song they do is, one episode of the original Star Trek. And these songs, as we've said for so many years, Dan, they're not parody.
Nope.
They're not making fun of Star Trek. They are creating new ways to think about these episodes through music and lyrics. And it is amazing stuff. So please, everybody, get on out to 5yearmission.net. Please buy all their CDs. You could do digital downloads, but if you're like Dan, you're going to lose those. The CDs, you're going to carry those things around forever.
Play Frisbee.
I guarantee you will not play Frisbee with these because they'll be in your CD player.
Exactly.
Or your computer spinning these tunes 24/7.
All the time. Yep.
You're going to be a huge fan of 5-Year Mission as we are. That's 5yearmission.net. Get those discs, baby.
Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, Year 4. Spock's Brain, Trouble with Tribbles. It's that simple. Go check them out. And like Bill said a moment ago, anybody on the East Coast or close to it, head up to Long Island this coming week, next weekend, right after Labor Day weekend. It's coming up in a week. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. I guarantee you show up, you're going to have a farking good time. And that's the important thing, people. Maybe even, 5-Year Mission, they're not that far. the Midwestern part of the United States is not far from New York. Maybe they should get in their farking car and drive to Trek Long Island as well.
I'm glad you corrected yourself directionally because the Middle East is quite a ways
away. Yes. I'm so used to saying Northeast this episode because we've been talking about Northeast, Trek Geek Central Command and all that stuff.
A Central Command? No, it's just HQ.
Oh, okay.
Northern HQ.
I like to add stuff onto a sentence. You know that.
And sometimes it's in English. But 5yearmission.net. I have to agree with Dan at his Farkism this week. Just you'll have a great farking time. Dan, of course, we talked a little bit about Patreon before, but now we want to say thank you to some very special folks.
We absolutely do. We love our Patreonicals. We love the fact that they are going to see our ugly mugs pretty soon and comment. That should be fun. Watching the comments come through and trying not to start laughing while we're doing an actual episode. That's going to be the challenge because I know there's some of those Patreons out there that's what their mission is going to be, is to screw us up. But right now we want to thank our associate producers of Trek Geeks. We love them so much, and they are Vikram Bhatt, Chad Clark, Corey Clay, Brad DeMag, William Edward M. Jr., Andy Fark, Kimberly Francis, Jonathan Hamilton, Ryan Jeffs, Sean Lynn, Rick Mason, Jamie McGregor, Ross McKinney, Aaron Mollenkoff, Sarah Ledoux, Helen Reed, Sarah Rutlinger, Tim Robertson, Desi Rogers, Greg Rozier, Eric Sakian, Adam Sanders, Tim Serdar, Heather Sohn, Blake Strike, Lisa Tomlinson, Ron Roble, Kaylia Zawacki, and the gracious and wonderful Connie Hutchins.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's record time that you read that in. That's pretty damn good.
I've been practicing.
And of course, good for you. You've had some time off, so I'm glad you were productive.
Still screwed up one, though.
Yeah, I know. We also want to thank our Trek Geeks producers for their support. They are Mike Bovia, Steve Bovia, Kyle Castillo, Peter Craig, Andy Davenport, Craig Ewing, Jackie and Chris Hackney, Brian Hackworth, Kimberly Hartman, David Hood, Lionel Marchand, Matt McGonigal, Jim McMahon, Darren Metcalf, Charlie Mulvey, Sean O'Halloran, Casey Pettit, Jamie Rogers, Casey Shafsky, Terry Shull, Jim Stoffel, Chris Trebuzio, Christina Werther, and the lovely and talented Jess Vashon. Dan, the senior producer of Trek Geeks for now and all time, is the phenomenally pleasant Jude Tatman.
I miss that kid. I got to tell you, it's been just over a year since I had the opportunity to fly across the pond and meet that crazy guy. We had a good time. Jude, hope you're doing good over there. He is the only person who will ever hold the title of senior producer of Trek Geeks. And you too can become a producer of Trek Geeks. It's so easy to do. You won't be senior producer, but you can become a producer. Head on over to patreon.com/TrekGeeks for all the details.
Hey, Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad podcast and make it better. And Spotify can come after me if they want to. I don't give a shit anymore. So Dan, next time on Trek Geeks, we hope to bring you some panel audio.
Yes.
Of our Say Something Nice panel live Saturday, June 1st, 6 p.m. in panel room B. If you're going to be at Trek Long Island, please come. Bring, you feel free to bring us drinks. That's always on the menu.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Better podcasting through chemicals. We should really be clear about that one.
The wit.
Better podcasting through drinks.
Yeah.
And we hope it's going to be a great time. We intend to have a lot of fun.
Without a doubt.
And there's going to be a lot of prizes. So that's next time we convene on Trek Geeks. Of course, for even more great Star Trek discussion, there are so many podcasts on the Trek Geeks network, and so many of them are going to be at Trek Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
You should really check them all out because they're just fans like you and me who want to celebrate Trek and Gene's vision and everything they love about the franchise. You can find all the shows on our network by going to trekgeeks.com/listen.
Trek Geeks. I love that. No one talks Trek like we do.
No one does. And of course, for all the news on all the Star Trek please visit our great friends at treknews.net. Not chilies.com.
No.
Treknews.net.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for now, this has been episode number 313 of the Trek Geeks podcast. We do hope you all live long and prosper.
So, we're going to be in New York next week, right? So I got your coconut right here.
We're going to be in Long Island.
Oh, well, New York.
So if we're going to be in Long Island...
Long Island.
Where is Short Island? Where the short people are.
Music for Trek Geeks is provided by 5 Year Mission. They're writing an original song for each episode of Star Trek. Hear more of their music at 5yearmission.net. Trek Geeks is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks podcast network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Bing bong, Dan.
Hey, pal. Hey, can you do me a favor before
Yeah.
we start?
Yeah.
Can you do bing bong in a semi-southern accent now that you're in North Carolina?
You mean now that I'm a Southerner?
Yeah. Go ahead, do it. Let's hear it.
I haven't worked on this. This is completely off the cuff. I haven't had time to warm up.
On the spot.
You know, I haven't done any of my vocal exercises. Charcuterie. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
Wow. I don't even...
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Whoa.
Thank you.
I don't even know how to spell that.
Please.
I don't even think I can repeat it. Anti-dysentery? What? I don't even remember.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, moron. Anti-dysentery. Yep. Bing bong, y'all. No, that was terrible.
No, that works. That works. I'll get bing bong back to you, buddy, from up here, up northern. Up. What's up there, bud? Good to see you. All right. Yeah. So you a North Carolinian or a North Carolinian now?
I believe it's Carolinian.
Carolinian. I like that.
Yeah.
North Carolinian. I'm a North Carolinian, and I want to be on Trek Geeks. There we go.
Welcome.
Yeah.
To Podfleet Command Southern Headquarters.
Ooh, I like it.
As you can see it behind me, I'm creating myself a little podcast nook. I gave our Patreons a little bit of a look to it the other day. I've got some shelves behind me, which will, have some collectibles on it, and that those may rotate over time.
I like it.
Looks
good. Looks good.
Never really had a chance to show off my stuff because I never really had space for it.
That's what he said. Yes, I understand. Sorry, I did watch The Office yesterday, so I'm sorry, I got a little off.
Which one?
Job fair.
Here's what I want to know. Why does Pam think her artwork is still going to be on the wall X number of years later after having graduated from that high school?
I know. I crashed into a sand trap. Sorry. I went off on a tangent there. I'm sorry. That never happens here.
Got some blisties.
Jeez. 1,200 balls. Oh my God.
I'm going to do something I've never done in this job before. Try. It's kind of like you with Trek Geeks, except
pretty much.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
We are still waiting. We're going to wait even longer. So you're the southern headquarters now, I guess you could call it.
That's right.
So would I be in the northeastern annex of the Trek Geeks podcast?
Oh, no. You're Northern HQ.
Oh, all right. I like that. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You are in command there squarely.
Oh,
in the newest of Hampshires.
That could be dangerous. Putting me in charge of anything is like a crapshoot. Or just crap. I don't even know.
So here's one thing I've had to get used to, right? So these developments that are popping up in our town, they're all in old farmland, right?
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of farms in the area. I mean, if you drove out here, you'd be like, dude, you live in the middle of nowhere. But I really don't. A lot of these roads, which are 2-lane roads, right, are 55 miles an hour.
Oh, quick roads. Yeah.
I mean, it seems really weird to be traveling that fast on a road that tiny.
It's not in your area. It's not in your immediate neighborhood, though.
Yes,
the area?
it is.
Oh, so like right outside your house is 55 miles an hour?
No, we live in a development, but right outside the development, literally 30 seconds away, it's 55.
All right, just wanted to make sure that in your development, you can still walk the dog without, fear of life.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
But there are plenty of houses on these roads, right? On these 55-mile-an-hour roads. Takes a little getting used to.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because people come right up behind you. They will have no problem at all passing you.
Yeah.
Whether it's a passing zone or not.
Not fun. Not fun.
So that's probably the biggest adjustment so far. I
wonder if it's up here. Up here we have like 30-mile-an-hour zones and people go like 50. So do people go 65, 70 in the 55?
A little bit, but from what I've seen so far, they kind of keep it to the 55.
That's good. I can't drive 55.
Oh gosh. What?
Sorry.
That's the age you and I both hit this year.
Oh, why'd you have to go there?
Because you're old. And you'll always be older than me.
I will. I will always be older than you and wiser. Anyway,
I have not seen. I've seen one Confederate flag sticker.
Okay.
On one vehicle.
Mm-hmm. I've seen more up here.
Exactly. To be fair, this car also had like those fake testicles hanging off its trim.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You think they were fake.
So, for all I know.
Hey, you never know, right?
They were orange, so they could have been Trump's balls for all I know.
He doesn't have any. What are you talking about?
Oh, wait. Yeah, he doesn't have any. I can't wait for the hate mail to start. Sorry.
I know, right? I don't care. I hate him.
But so far, we're almost 4 weeks into being down here.
Uh-huh.
Which is amazing to think of.
It is.
And we still love it. We have not regretted the decision once.
I don't think you will.
We love our house. Our fence is going in within the next couple of weeks for Isabella.
Very, very good.
So tangent. Okay. We catch everybody up on living in North Carolina. So Kelly, like 2 years ago, bought Isabella a kiddie pool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. Yeah.
We finally broke it out yesterday.
Yep.
After we bought a hose, because it was hot yesterday.
Such a cute video.
And Isabella was all about it. In fact, she dragged us out after that, like a couple hours later, just to go to the kiddie pool. She made us think she had to go outside to go potty.
Yeah. Nope.
She got right in the kiddie pool.
Splash. And I love how she's digging at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Great video you posted. No, that's awesome. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that she has adapted well. I've got some Miley news since we're talking about puppies.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
So we've had her for about a month and a half, right around there. And she's fantastic. The foster person, we send her videos and she's a completely different dog. She's so happy. She's so energetic. But the other night, this was hysterical. It was Monday night or Tuesday night. I was outside with her and she was ready to come in. So she came running up the stairs to the deck and instantly shot towards the door to go in the house. Just really fast. She just wanted to run in the house really fast. I tried to stop her because the screen door was closed. And that didn't go too well. She went right through the screen door, completely, didn't rip the screen, but popped it completely out of the rubber out of the track.
Oh,
so I was able to save it. But after that happened, of course, she was scared, wasn't really sure what was going on. So as a result of that, finally, she has slept on our bed every night since that happened, and I don't think she'll ever not sleep on our bed now.
Oh, that's amazing.
So a bad thing to a good thing. Yeah. She's a sweetie.
Yeah. That's awesome. I loved it. So last night we had some really bad thunderstorms here. So like at 1:30 in the morning, it freaked Isabella out because, it was dark.
Yep.
And so she came up and sat right by my head. And then after that, she decided to curl up in between us. But the problem is that she was facing Kelly. Mm-hmm. So every time I'd turn over and roll onto my side, Isabella goes, "Oh, I have room. I'm going to stretch out." So I wound up sleeping on that side for the rest of the night. And I had a sliver of the bed left. Mm-hmm. That dog, she's only 50 pounds. She will take up all the room if you let her, and it's hilarious.
And we won't do anything to make ourselves more comfortable.
No.
Nope,
of course not.
Not at all. No,
of course not.
I'll sleep on the floor if she gets me that far.
I think your wife's been hoping for that for years, quite frankly.
She's been very good though. She starts right up in between us and we pat her for a little while. And then she gets up and goes right to the very end of the bed and stays there all night.
Oh, wow.
Yep. She's
Isabella
so good.
Used to do that.
Yeah, she's so good. So
for the last 2 weeks, I have woken up with Isabella adhered to me, which is an amazing development because before it was always Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Isabella is, I don't want to say she's chilling out, but we have no idea what her history was, the first 6 years of her life or so.
Yep.
So for all I know, she could have been mistreated by a man or you just had really negative, interactions with men.
Right.
So the fact that, I've got a Velcro dog first thing in the morning, I will take it.
I like it. I'm glad that she's adjusting. I'm glad you're adjusting. We have adjusted with you being gone in so many ways. But in all seriousness, I'm glad everything's going well, man. Very good. Very good here.
We've adjusted amazingly. I like having this breathing room away from you. You being 7 minutes away before was way too close.
That's going to change in about 5 days.
Oh, damn, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
At least you don't have to ride in a car with me.
24/7 for 5 full days. 24/7.
I just want to point out, I would only do this for Trek Long Island. Wait, that's not true because I'm going to do it for Vegas too.
That's right. That's even longer. So, yeah, congratulations.
Shit.
Actually, it's not 24/7. It's 24/5 because we're not going to be there for 7 days. So I was wrong again.
I didn't even catch it. I didn't even catch it. So.
It's just a usual phrase.
Your intent was to say all day, every day, and I get it.
Yeah. If we were on Bajor, it would have been 28/7. So.
Thought it was 26.
26/7. Yep, 26/7 hike.
Way to go, Superfan 1701.
I knew that was coming.
It's been a while since I've hauled out Superfan. We're 9.5 years into this.
I know.
I should be using that more.
You should.
So, Trek Long Island, I can't tell you how psyched I am to be making this trip.
Yeah.
It's nice to go to an East Coast con.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a Galaxy Con here in Raleigh this fall, which we may have to do someday simply just because Galaxy Cons are huge, as you know.
Right.
But I'm stoked. I'm ready for this. Like you read about.
That's awesome. No, I cannot wait. It's going to be a quick trip when you think about it. I'm driving down to Connecticut and jumping on a ferry and then driving to Hop Hog. And it should only be a few hours. So that's pretty awesome. And then you'll be there and then it won't be as awesome, but that's okay. I'm still going to be a fun time. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Don't cry. It's all right.
No, I was trying to listen to see if I heard thunder, and I don't think it is.
I thought you were just about because I was being a funny man, Mr. Funny Man.
Wait, you were funny? When does that start?
Every once in a while, it happens.
I believe I'm flying into Islip, so
yes,
I'm only like 20 minutes from the hotel.
Yep.
Which isn't
I think it's actually 16 minutes because I did the check because I'll be driving near the airport on Monday morning when we go home.
Sorry.
Yep.
So sorry.
We've also been told that we need to go to FanX at some point.
Out in Salt Lake?
Yes, our dear friend Haley has said that we need to go out there at some point. So
yeah, she has been telling us that for years, in all fairness, and you have dismissed her every single time.
Wow, I do not think so at all. That is untrue completely.
I know that's a fact. You're like, I'm not going to Utah. You can't even drink there. And I'm like, well, yes, you can. You know, there are plenty of people in Utah who drink. I mean, they have sports teams, for God's sake.
She's very excited.
You're like, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah, okay. She's very excited because Jason Isaacs is going to be there this year, which is actually pretty cool. Harry Potter / Star Trek, little mix in there.
So nice in Vegas a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was conversational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a big movie star, right? He's been in so many things.
Yep.
You expect that he's maybe not be as accessible as some of the newer, the other Star Trek cast members, who are of, sort of a newer age of social media. No, he could not have been more gracious. And
that's great.
I will always remember that about Jason Isaacs because I've been a fan of his for a long time.
Very cool. I think we'll get out there someday.
He plays a great villain.
He does. He really does. And I love the villains. I'm the villain guy. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, you are a villain.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Don't mess with me.
You're like my villain. You're like my arch nemesis.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Send your ships.
Yeah, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddlesome kids.
I'm aware what it is. Thank you, genius.
Ruby Roo. Anyway,
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I've got so many questions, none of them appropriate for the podcast.
All right.
They are appropriate for the bar in Long Island, though.
Then it shall happen.
By
the way, I do have to apologize. I know you're going to give me shit and everything like that, but I do have to apologize. We did not get to do a Charleston Chew martini before you left for North Carolina, and that's on me. We'll have to figure out a way to do it either in Long Island or in Vegas. I have the recipe, so it's just a question of making it. So it'll happen.
It's a shame we can't rent a space in Vegas and have Dan's Martini Hour. I'm being serious here. Where you mix martinis for people. And it could be a small gathering, like maybe 20 people or so, maybe all, but it's just, it's a shit because Vegas is just so cost prohibitive for everything.
It is. It really is. Yep.
And I get it. I mean, it's the job of businesses out there to make money. But I mean, if you want to do a small thing, it's hard not to do it without it costing an astronomical amount per head.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's too bad. Yeah, cannoli teeny is my thing right now. Might be Sue's favorite ever.
Wow.
Yeah. We tried the one at Copper Door, and I've kind of built up on it, and she absolutely loves it. Yeah.
No, I thought the one at Copper Door was a little too sweet.
Yeah, and she does not like sweet drinks, but she loves the one I did. I don't know what I've done to cut back on the sweetness from what they do because we don't have the exact measurements from Copper Door, but she loves it. I like it. Love it. Our neighbor loves it too. She came over and had one. It was pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have come over for one of those, but
well, you're a long way away.
So.
No.
I got an invite before I left. So
well,
thanks.
Take that as you will.
Wow.
Wow. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you know what I've learned driving from New Hampshire to North Carolina twice in the span of 6 days?
What's that?
I hate driving through Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut's not fun at all.
The roads are horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
People say, New Jersey's terrible. No. New Jersey is fine.
Yeah.
I sailed through New Jersey. Connecticut, I was worried that my car was just going to get damaged. And you get those rest areas like right on the highway with no ramp up time to get back. And it's just dangerous. And some of the bridges look like they're going to fall apart.
Yeah. I remember a few years ago, we drove down to Orlando to pick up Rebecca and her stuff and bring it back to Maine. And it was downpour the entire time we were driving through Connecticut. And it was a tense drive. I love driving. I did not love driving through Connecticut in a downpour for like 2.5 hours.
Now, some people are going to be asking, why did you drive from New Hampshire to North Carolina twice in the span of 6 days? Well, it's because my wife and I drove down with Isabella first, got them settled in a Verbo. I came back to meet the movers, and then I had to take my car down. So that's kind of how that happened. But what is that on your shirt? Is that Captain Caveman?
This is no, it's a throwback shirt that we all got special shirts for Disney, which was awesome. We just got back a couple weeks ago. And this is a mixture of Haunted Mansion, the Three Ghosts, and the Mr. Toad ride that is no longer in Disney World. So that's Mr. Toad and the Three Ghosts from Haunted Mansion.
All I could see was the one at the top. So
there you go.
There you go. So it kind of looked like Captain Caveman.
Nope. So, yeah, we got some great shirts for our trip and had a good time.
That's good. Well, all right there, Cheese Whiz, you ready to make this happen?
I am always ready, my friend. It's good to be back.
Is it?
It is.
It's good to be back podcasting. I would love to say it's good to be back with you, but here we are. All right, let's do this.
We are.